Hi, everyone. We talk a lot about risk management in the project management world. We know that we need to be proactive regarding risk and that it should really be a team effort. We should be planning risk management sessions in addition to allowing team members to identify risk and submit them for team discussion and review. So today I am going to show you how to incorporate Smartsheet into a risk management process. Again, we want to ensure that it's easy for team members to highlight risk and that it's easy to go back, provide updates, and ensure that you're paying attention to the right things. I am Kandis Porter, the founder and managing director of Effective Flow Connections. I'm a project management professional, and I also work with a lot of organizations on consulting regarding their projects. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Smartsheet, and I'll show you how I set this up. You will see here that I have a grid set up, and it's called Risk Log Template. So I would have this in the same workspace where I'm storing my project schedule. And some of the things that I have included: risk number, date of entry, status, so this would be open or closed, project name. This would only be if you want to use the same grid to manage multiple projects. For example, if you're a project management office, you may want to have everyone submitting to the same grid. Otherwise, you can eliminate this if it's a form that is set up specifically for one project. Your name in regards to the person submitting, risk score. I'm going to talk a little bit about that when I show you the form I created. Risk description, risk management approaches. Again, I'm going to show you examples of these when we get out to the form. Mitigation plans as required. Due date that the actions associated with mitigation plans are required, contingency plans as required, comments, the assigned risk owner, which is important, the date that the risk is closed, and then results or comments. So basically, I have set this up to be my risk log, and I've created a risk form. So if I go to manage forms, you're going to see that I've got a risk entry form that I set up. I have a separate video on how to create a form within Smartsheet. So check that out if you're curious how to do this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the risk entry form now. I want to remind everyone that a risk is something that is always in the future. It may or may not happen. And if it does happen, it could have a positive or a negative impact on your project objectives. Most of the time, when people are talking about risk management, they're talking about paying attention to the risks that are going to have a negative impact on their project. So now that I've set up a form here, and again, separate video if you're looking at how to do that, you're going to see that I have some data that I've put in here. So this would be a link that you can share with project team members or some of your other stakeholders so that they can say, hey, we need to raise a flag in that something could go wrong. We're being proactive because, again, a risk is always in the future. So I've went ahead and entered the project name here at the top, best project ever. My name, I'm the one submitting the entry form, and you'll see there's additional instructions for each of these steps on here because you're able to enter instructions for the different fields when you set the form up. So again, I'm clarifying who's submitting the risk entry form for your name. The risk score, I'm referring to the risk severity matrix. I will put that up momentarily to show you what that looks like. But basically, we want to make sure that our entire project team is using the same language when we're talking about the severity of the risk. We determine the severity of the risk based on the probability that it is going to occur. So that's the percentage. Are we 80% sure that it's going to happen, or are we 10% sure? We also look at the impact, usually measured in cost or schedule delays. Again, I will show you a risk severity matrix shortly. I recommend that you do create one and customize one for your project. So these drop-down options relate directly to the risk severity matrix. I'm going to go ahead and have this in here. I'm going to put it as a major risk based on the risk description that I have included. So this relates to materials that may go up in cost. So it could make us be over budget. And we're seeing that due to a lot of the trends associated with increased taxes on imports. So we have materials we need for a project in a future phase, and we're starting to see they're slowly creeping up, and we think that it may put us over budget. I've got a full justification in here, and I have noted there is a high impact to our project and possible probability. So that statement right there relates to the risk severity matrix. That's how I've calculated the score of a major risk. So down here, I've got some risk management approaches. These are aligned with Project Management Institute's best practices. I can avoid it, which means come up with a totally different plan. I can transfer it, usually bringing in a third party of some sort, maybe a consultant or an insurance company, so we can transfer that risk. Accept the risk, which is a passive way of saying we will deal with it when it occurs. We can accept the risk and create a contingency plan, which is a plan that would go into place if the risk turns into an issue. And only at that time would we put our contingency plan into place. The mitigation plan, which I have selected here, is a plan that we create to take actions to reduce the probability or the impact from occurring. So mitigation plan, we're doing things right here and now to try to reduce the probability or impact. Contingency plan, we are coming up with a plan where we are going to say, this plan will only go into place if it turns into an issue and we're actively dealing with it. So I've got it to where you can select all that apply here, and I'm going to select both of those. I want to create both a mitigation plan and a contingency plan. I am going to be the assigned risk owner, and that's important because we need one person that is responsible for reporting status of the risk. So that is, again, important. You always want to have one assigned risk owner. The mitigation plan. So what are we going to do to reduce the probability or the impact? So we're going to reach out to the approved vendors, and we're trying to reach a signed agreement to buy materials in bulk. So we've talked to procurement, we've talked to some other project managers, and we know a lot of other people are in the same situation. So we're going to reach out and say, we would like to get a signed agreement in place that says you will not raise the price on us because we're going to buy in bulk. So that is what we're going to try to do to reduce the probability and the impact of those prices continuing to go up for us. We're going to do that by September 30th. And, we're also going to create a contingency plan. So this is the plan that would go into place if we actually have it turn into an issue, which is current state. We're going to explore some vendors that offer similar materials that won't require importing. So we're going to come up with a list of the top 3 vendors and work with procurement to get them pre-approved in the event we need to move quickly with purchasing. So we would only move forward with using those vendors and purchasing them if it turned into an issue and our materials were just unaffordable with the current vendors that are being imported. Comments, current approved vendor list attached. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach that. So I've got a snapshot of the vendors that we are currently looking at. I've got it to where you can upload a file here. So I am going to browse files. I'm going to attach the approved vendor list, open it. If I want a copy of what is being submitted as far as my risk entry, I could always select this, send me a copy of my responses, and enter my email address. It will email me a copy of what I've submitted. So I don't need a copy. I'm going to click submit. There we go. My risk entry form was submitted. Again, we want to make that available to all team members so that they can raise risk as they come about. Now I want to take you back and let's look at what happens on the back end. So I'm going to need to refresh to be able to see it show up. So you will see I'm now here on the back end is what I like to call it, as far as the actual grid. So who has access to really manage these risks that are submitted? I would like to encourage you to give anyone that has the ability to submit the form and potentially be assigned as a risk owner, as someone that could come in here and provide updates as well. I think that that's really helpful. So here we go. I've got everything submitted here, and you'll see that my attachment showed up here, my approved vendor list, that I've got it to where we automatically get risk numbers assigned. Because if you think about it, we're going to have people submitting risk all the time. Some of them are going to be open, some of them are going to be closed. And as they close out, we still want to have a risk number assigned. So I'm going to put this as open. That's the status. I did not include the status on the form because I think it's something that we should go ahead and assume it's open if someone has just submitted it, or at least have someone review it to make sure that it is truly a risk. Sometimes people may confuse risk and issue, so they may submit something to the risk log that is actually an issue and should go in a different log. So having someone take a look at it, say, yes, it's a true risk. We're going to mark it as open. We've got the best project ever. We've got all of the information that was submitted. And then you'll see we've got the assigned owner. Whoever is the person that checks it to make sure it's an actual risk, you will see that then we've got a date closed. So it's not closed yet, nor do we have any results or comments. So we're going to save those for when we continue to move forward with our mitigation plans. If we need our contingency plan, that means it has become an issue and we probably want to track that in a different log. However, we will update these as we actually have additional information to share. You'll see over here that we've got the major risks documented and the comments. Now, if it makes sense for you to move these fields around in a way that you feel flows better, you can always just click and drag and drop. So I'm going to move the comments over here. I'm going to move the risk score over here. And there you go. You'll see that it's much better organized. That is really it as far as how we've got it set up with a form and how we've got it set up with the back end. You could always make sure that you have automation in here or the ability to tag people as they become assigned owners. So there's a lot of possibilities and options. I'm showing you the very simplest option to at least get you organized on the risk management. Now, before I wrap up today, I want to show you that risk severity matrix that I was referencing earlier. I always recommend that project teams create one of these that is customized to their project so that they know that they're speaking the same language when they are identifying and analyzing risk. It's pretty simple to create. Again, we've got the probability on the left-hand side. That's the percentage. So how likely is it that this risk is going to turn into an issue? Along the bottom here, then we've got impact. Again, usually measured in schedule impact or dollars, the cost impact. So you'll see this customized matrix. It shows that it'd be a low impact if it delays the schedule less than a week. It would be a low impact if it's less than $500. Medium impact, high impact, very high. You can see that this should be customized because the scale of the project is important. If I have a $30,000 project, I probably don't want $25,000 plus to be the high end. I would probably want that amount to be less because, again, it's going to depend on the scale of the project. The risk that I submitted, if you recall, I said that it was going to be a high impact because we said it was going to be about $6,000 and it was going to be possible that we had 25% chance of it occurring. So if I draw these together, possible and impact high, that's going to make it a 9 major risk. So this is called a 4x4 risk matrix. They come in different shapes and sizes. You can honestly have a 3x3 risk matrix, a 2x2 risk matrix, whatever works for you and your project team. And this is what you should use to come up with the severity of the matrix. I recommend the project sponsor be on board and align with whatever you're using. Thank you again for joining. I am Kandis Porter. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. Please click on that bell so that you are notified as I publish additional videos on project management. And I like to explore technology. Since I showed Smartsheet today, that's just one of the tools that I show off. You will find down in the comments section a link to my website and how you could work with me if you so choose. Have a great day. Best of luck on your projects. It's a pleasure to have you here today.